Okay, here we go. I think we're good now. Alright, testing. Looks like everything's working again. Sheesh. Alright, hopefully some of y'all can come back. Alright. Hey, Torix, welcome back. Ooh. Hey, Torix, welcome. Oh, wow. Alright, so at least I can hear myself. Let's go and fix that, cut that off. Okay. We're good there. Well, internet wasn't the issue. It was just my Ethernet cable, and the router just was acting up. The internet was fine around the rest of the house. It was just this particular computer not working. Fun stuff, I tell you. Definitely need all the support I can get right now. Already sick, essentially. Hopefully you got your issues fixed. Because, man, I wonder if it's a YouTube issue. But at least on my end, I know for a fact that the Ethernet cable was not registering with my computer. So I think that was just as much of an issue. Still trying to set some stuff back up because we were, of course, going to talk about the impacts. And then we were also going to look at some of the beach cams. We got a lot, and I mean a lot to talk about. I didn't even get a chance to look at the 5 p.m. update, which is really frustrating. Also, if I sound stuffy, it's because I am a little bit under the weather. Been that way for the last 36 hours. Definitely not the most optimal situation if you're going to be streaming, but do the best I can. Also, guys, make sure you're hitting the like button. Ugh. All right. Oh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. All right, but yeah, millions affected from the YouTube issue. Oh, yeah. This is definitely not the time for YouTube to be going down right now. Alright, make sure you guys are also hitting that share button. I actually have to reshare this now out to my socials, which is freaking lovely. Actually getting a little bit of thunder in my area right now. They have just upgraded us to tropical storm warning, by the way, John. So don't be surprised. No, I did not get the tornado. I didn't get the Cuba radar tornado explorer. It'll be fine. I'm not super worried about Cuba at this point. I mean, they are getting it pretty bad over there, but I'm not in any condition to do any lengthy coverage today. I gotta try to get better for tomorrow. So, just gonna take it one step at a time, dude, because literally trying to talk right now is awful. Yeah, sick and the worst and trying to talk is awful. especially with it being sinus, which is exactly what I'm dealing with right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and get down to business here. So of course we still have that tornado warning. We're gonna keep an eye on it, of course, but we're gonna be switching over now to cyclocane here. But first, oh, that's the small screen. Geez, it's been a while since I've worked with my configuration here, so I'm still kind of scatterbrained here. Alright, let's try this. Okay, there we go. Do that, and then we'll switch this over. Alright, okay, that didn't quite go as planned. Okay, there we go. I think we're finally set up here. Again, please, guys, make sure you're hitting that share button, by the way. Alright, here we go. If anything's going on, I'm still able to see chat, but I'm having to just kind of adjust on the fly here. But let's go on and get this thing going here. So, I'm just now getting to look at this stuff here, so if you haven't gotten to see the 5 o'clock advisory, you and I are gonna be in the same boat with our reaction here. So, based off what I'm seeing here, 10th advisory came in, of course, and we have a Category 1 hurricane. It has strengthened a little bit more since the last update at 2 p.m. So it's at 85 miles an hour now. Movement off to the north at 12. We still have our hurricane warnings now in effect. We have all of our tropical storm warnings as well. We do have some hurricane watches a little further off to the south here towards, well, sorry, Liz, I'm not feeling better, unfortunately. But hey, we do what we have to do. But we do have some hurricane watches over here towards Tampa Bay and areas to the south here. That's going to be a point of interest as well. But another thing to talk about here also is going to be the fact that we actually will need to watch inland as well, especially towards the right side. Because even though the storm surge threat and the wind threat will not be as great of a factor as it would be initially at landfall, the threat for tornadoes is actually going to increase tomorrow as well. So, going to be very busy on this end here. Hopefully I can get better over time. Whew. Anyway, though, we expect this to eventually end up pushing through a good chunk of Georgia here, parts of Alabama, or at least the center of circulation here. And this is where things kind of get complicated for my area here, because that right side is usually the most nasty side of the storm here. And what I'm concerned about is streaming and potentially losing power. That might be a big problem here. Of course, there's always the threat of tornadoes and flooding, but I think losing power is my biggest concern right now. I'm not necessarily scared of much else there. So I want to, of course, keep producing the coverage for you guys. But that's going to be a big deal. And then, of course, we're going to watch this eventually head into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys and even head towards the Mississippi River, where we anticipate it to actually stall out. And this could be a huge problem for areas around western Kentucky, Tennessee, and even towards Missouri and Arkansas as we go forward here. So very dangerous look here for sure as we continue to go forward with this here. So I guess from this point, we'll start talking about the impacts for each area from this point here. We just really have talked about the path of the storm so far here. So if you're just now tuning in, we have plenty more to discuss here. And anyone that is tuning in, also want to say thanks for doing so. It's been a pretty crazy start to the stream. We actually just restarted here. But in any case, though, I guess I'll let you guys pick. What impacts are you wanting to go over first? There's storm surge, there's rainfall, of course, flash flooding, the severe weather threat with the tornadoes, the tropical storm force wind arrival time, plenty of stuff to talk about. So if there's anything that you guys want to go over first, feel free to let me know in chat. I'm also going to add HRRR on here. Tropical storm force winds first. How's Jacksonville looking? Well, Jacksonville's not on the cone, but Jacksonville is going to feel some impacts. You do have tropical storm force. We do have tropical storm warnings right now. Right now, there's going to be some showers and storms. You should be able to stay without too much issue. I mean, the weather can still be pretty nasty. I think the biggest threat for you is going to be the tornado threat, maybe. Even if it turns right, I still think you'll be all right. Because for one, the storm is going to end up pushing a lot of the waves out to sea instead of onshore. It'd be different if the storm was coming in from, like, let's say, maybe this direction here. Then I would want to evacuate if I were you. But for this to happen for you, you would have to have the storm literally sneak under Cuba, go through the Bahamas, and then basically make a U-turn all the way back. So I think you're okay where you're at. Just be watchful of changing conditions. Like I said, I really think tornado threat's going to be more of a concern than anything else. I mean, if you do want to leave, I mean, feel free to, but I don't think it'll be necessary. Yeah, stranger things have happened, but I'm pretty confident this time that we aren't going to end up seeing something like that happening. There's a cold front that's already over here in this area, and it's going to be pushing off to the east. And that's what's going to keep this thing on its track right now. Plus, with it moving already in the direction that it's in, I don't expect it to be affected like that. No, yeah, you can't come to mind because we're actually on the nasty side of the storm here. All right, but if no one else is picking, and looks like Tor X said wind, I guess we'll start out with the arrival of tropical storm force winds first. Yeah, I remember that one. I think it was Debbie. But Debbie's circumstances were a little bit different from this one. Yeah, we did cover Debbie, or we tried to. We struggled with that one. We had very similar issues to today's stream. Shoot, I still didn't share. I still haven't shared yet. I'll do that in a little bit. But we'll talk about the arrival of tropical storm force winds. We're going to actually see those begin to occur over towards the Keys first. We actually do have some cameras over there towards that area too. A few and far in between though. I wanted to see the one that's over towards like the most southernmost part of the Keys, but it's not really giving me a view of anything other than the pier, so it's kind of out of the equation here at this point. But we'll see the Keys start to come into play right at around 8 o'clock, so 2 hours from now. Then we'll start to see those winds start to increase and spread outward towards the southern part of the peninsula by overnight tonight. 8 a.m., it looks like that's when we start to have areas such as Sarasota, Tampa in the mix here. Yes, it is going to be a Category 4. Low end Category 4 right now. I'm actually going to show you guys something interesting about that in a little bit. We're actually going to show you guys a couple interesting things. Like I said, plenty to cover right now. And this is where you also want to pay attention, Liz, because I think somewhere between 8 a.m. 2 p.m. tomorrow, I really probably say somewhere around like lunchtime is what I think you'll start to get those tropical storm force winds in your area. So whatever you do decide to do, you want to try and do it before then. Then, of course, as we get towards 8 o'clock, that's when these tropical storm force winds will be heading towards my area. Well, both our areas, because I forgot, John, you live in my area as well. Hey, Ottoman Empire. Sorry if I sound like crap. I feel like it too. It's been a rough little bit here. Been sick for the last 36 hours. Hey, Voice of Liberty, long time no see. Good to see you, man. Thanks for the $2, by the way, bud. You know, I'm just trying to soldier through, being a little bit under the weather here and bracing for this storm because it's actually heading for my area here. Okay, so let's get into the wind speed probabilities here. And this is something that interests me pretty heavily right now. But over here, of course, and this is why I was saying that you should be fine personally, Liz, is because the probability of tropical storm force winds isn't necessarily high for your area. It's mainly in the 40 to 50 percentile range. I mean, not to say that you won't get them. There's a good chance you still will, but it's not going to, like I said, impacts aren't going to be quite as significant. And a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the wind is going to be blowing like offshore at this point. Well, I don't know if these are necessarily, I don't know if the bands that we're getting right now, John, are particularly from Helene yet. I think we're just getting ambient moisture from Helene, and then that cold front is allowing showers and storms to fire. Oh, man, my freaking nose is... I'm so congested right now, it's not even funny. But if we were to go ahead and look at, of course, the greatest probability of tropical storm force winds, of course, we're going to be looking pretty much all throughout the Big Bend of Florida here, into southern Georgia actually here as well. So over towards Fort Valley region will be a point of interest. I'll have the radar up in just a little bit here. So you're just a little to the east of Athens here. We actually, it's crazy to actually like think about this, but Jacksonville, which is off to the coast here, has about a 40 to 50% chance of tropical storm force winds. As it stands right now, both yours and my area, John, have higher probability of tropical storm force winds than Liz. That is crazy. That's crazy. And we're like super far. We're hundreds of miles inland. Like, the thought of that blows my mind. Like, who would have thought? Like, if I were a betting man, I would have never made that bet even. Like I said, even, or I messed up the analogy, but basically, like, even if I were a betting man, I don't think I would have made that one. I wouldn't have won that. Alright, so let's get a better look at a couple other things. We're going to be looking at the 60 mile per hour wind probabilities here. So, of course, mainly right now, of course, over towards the center of circulation is going to be where the probabilities are greatest. But I do think this might be going a little further north than what's being shown on here. This storm, of course, could lose strength really fast, but considering the fact that it's going to be a Cat 4 at landfall, I have a hard time believing that that's going to be the case here. And especially as this storm strengthens and the wind field increases, this is very much prone to changing, by the way. Just thought I'd clarify that. So one other thing I'm going to do, and then we're going to actually take a quick look at the radar. By the way, 50 knot winds are considered as severe thunderstorm criteria. But in any case, though, if you're out here towards Atlanta, especially, you need to be watching that. I really think over towards Apalachicola, Panama City, it's going to be a point of contention as well. Hurricane force winds right now, obviously, with the storm still as a Cat 1 right now, those winds have not really expanded at the moment. So, like I said, this is also very much prone to changing. Those probabilities are going to go up. Alright, so now that we talked about wind speed probabilities and the arrival of tropical storm force winds, is there any other parameters you want to discuss really quickly? Storm surge, if you have a particular area you're interested in, feel free to ask questions as well. If not, then we'll actually get into the really interesting stuff here, and that's actually looking at some of the model data ahead for Helene here. So got to open up another tab here. Did I lose my Oh, okay. Okay, I've just now realized that that's in my screen. That screen is in my way. Okay. Sorry about that, guy. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, let's go. Alright, then let's go ahead and take a look at that. So, there's two parts to this, actually. We'll be using this tab in just a second here, but, of course, right now, we're going to be taking a look at the satellite, of course, when it comes to Helene. This thing's starting to look really impressive on satellite at this point now. I'm actually going to go ahead and open this in a separate window here. And we're going to get up close and personal. You can actually see a pretty well-pronounced eye starting to come in here, so I do think the rapid intensification is going to start very soon here. So we'll probably see maybe an upgrade to Category 2 by later tonight. Yeah, this thing is absolutely huge. Like I said, along the cold front here is why we're getting those showers and storms up there in Georgia. I would actually start to expect some more squally weather towards your area in the next little bit, Liz. So be ready for that. But the interesting thing that I was talking about is, of course, as we mentioned before, the strength is forecast to be minimal Cat 4. Oh yeah, it's 100% intensifying right now. But the interesting thing to talk about, of course, is the track. I've seen Baconator do far, far worse Torex, so you're good, man. Okay, I don't know why this isn't rendering in. Okay, there it goes. So, a couple things to remember here, and I'm going to take this into full screen. Of course, anywhere over towards like Apalachicola is going to be the point of interest for landfall here, maybe a little bit off to the west. Yep, it actually looks like Apalachicola might be dead center here, along with Carabel. We do have cameras over towards that area, so that's going to be an interesting point to be watching over the course of the next 24 hours here. Yeah. Nice tornado. But okay, I get what's going on now. But yeah, Apalachicola over here and Carabella is going to be a point of interest. I'm sorry, guys, I can be slow sometimes too, you know. It's going to be a point of interest, but really, as we go further inland, the greatest impacts are actually going to shift a little bit from the center point over towards the right side. And this is where I kind of get worried for some of these larger population centers, especially towards Georgia, where we have areas like Albany, Fort Valley in the mix. And then we have Roswell, Sandy Springs, and Atlanta in the mix as well. This is where we're going to probably see our tornado threat, which we'll go over in just a little bit. And then we'll even start to see this sneak into Tennessee here. So Knoxville could even be in the action at that point, as well as Chattanooga. And then as we continue to go forward, it could even get all the way up towards maybe St. Louis before we're all said and done. Beck. I haven't seen the new Twister movie yet either, in all fairness. No spoilers, by the way, folks. No spoilers, or you will be banned. I was trying to wait for my brother to come home from deployment, but he's got his hands full with work right now. But yeah, anywhere on the right side of this, of these spaghetti models, we're going to have to pay extra close attention to. You haven't watched the original Twister yet? What? What? Are you kidding me? There's no way, man. Alright, so this is where we start to get towards the interesting stuff, by the way, folks. I'm not going to try to run too much of your time either. Torex! What are you... Voice of Liberty, my brother is in the Air Force. That is unacceptable, Tor Explorer. After this stream, if you don't have any homework, dude, I demand you watch that, man. Like, that is a travesty that your name is Torex, and you have not watched the Twister movie. That should almost be a crime, man. That should almost be a crime. That is unacceptable, dude. I have you as a moderator here. What? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna grill you too much for that, but you do need to watch the original Twister, and then of course the second one. Definitely recommend anyone that hasn't watched the original Twister movie. Definitely recommend it. Need to watch that at some point in life. Like, it is absolutely amazing. But anyway, here's where things start to get interesting here. Because I've been keeping an eye on this, and this is kind of what I've been using in a lot of my videos here, in regards to trying to get an idea of whether we get an upgrade in strength or not. So, when this storm first formed, of course we looked at much further time frames, like 84 plus hours out. What I like to call the hearsay zone, or the hearsay time zone. But since we're 24 hours out, there is an alarming trend that I've noticed here, is that we're still seeing a slight confidence in like an upgrade here in strength here. Because originally they were thinking low end category 3, which is about 100 knots. Then it went up to 105, 110, 112. Now we're starting to see a consensus of models getting right towards 115 knots. 115 knots, put that into perspective for you, we'll go back up. That's 130 miles an hour. Okay, so that's low end category 4. Go back. I'm starting to see a sneaky little trend here where we're starting to see a couple of these getting above that point here, where we might be sneaking our way up to 140 miles an hour. Basically, that's about 120 knots. So even though the models are indicating a category 4, they might be a little bit on the conservative side in regards to its strength. And I hate to say that because I really don't want to scare anybody, but with the environment we have, yikes. Anyone that's in the path of it is the one that needs to be, in like the direct path towards the eye, is the main one that would need to be concerned about those impacts. But in any case, though, a couple interesting things that I'm like making note of here as I'm looking at the spaghetti plots here. Like I said, there's at least 2 or 3 models that push it towards a mid-grade category 3 or 4, excuse me. But if I go back to the 12 o'clock model runs here, I'm starting to even see a little bit over towards category 5, and a good bit of these push this towards category 4, like the mid-grade to upper grade even. So just because we have it currently forecasted as a Cat 4 does not mean that it's set in stone yet. Really what we would like to see is a weakening trend. Like, we can still hope that we get that, but this trend that I'm seeing here, I'm not necessarily a fan of it. Especially since this thing's coming towards my area and I don't want to be under another hurricane warning again. Oh, seriously, Liz? Thank you for your service, by the way. Wait. Oh, voice, you serve too, huh? Alright. I wouldn't necessarily say they've been inconsistent with the intensity Torex. I mean, some of these have been pushing it towards major hurricane from the very beginning. Other ones have been kind of back and forth with just how strong it could get. A big factor to that was Hurricane John, no pun intended. Or I'm not literally saying you, John. But yeah, there was Hurricane John out here towards like the East Pacific. And some of the wind shear that was coming off of the outflow from John was actually in effect was actually affecting Helene as she was starting to form when she was PTC 9, and that's what slowed the strengthening process. So when John became a remnant storm temporarily, the outflow stopped becoming a factor, and the storm has pretty much from this point started to strengthen. So now nothing's really inhibiting Helene here. So I've been saying in all of the tropical outlooks and updates that the ceiling for this storm is really high, and it's it's meeting my expectation, and honestly I'm hoping it doesn't exceed it. Truthfully, I was expecting a category 3, category 4 storm. So this is just about what I was expecting, and this was always a scenario that I was really worried about, truthfully, in regards to what to expect from this storm system. You always hope that when these scenarios occur, you kind of hope that it underperforms, but this might not be one of those times. Okay, so you guys want to see something cool? Okay. So we can actually get a look at Helene as she's developed from when the storm was relatively unorganized all the way up till now through these charts here. This is looking at the vertical cross section. Normally I show this for the members whenever I get the chance to do videos, or if I'm not sick all the way to or if I'm not sick beyond oblivion like I am right now. But interesting thing to make note of, watch the right side of this storm system. So okay, right now we're at PTC 9 at this point. So not really a whole lot going on. This is where we're starting to see it strengthen. Now we're starting to see a great deal of intensification, especially on the V1 side here. Look at this. Now watch what happens as we start to go beyond the forecast hours here. Just look at how intense this gets here. This is looking at temperature anomaly here in the far right side. This is the moisture content. This is the relative humidities that we're looking at here. And this is the wind profiles, 2 different angles. You get these from the hurricane hunters themselves. But just look at how intense this thing gets. And this is just before landfall here. Look at that. That is crazy. You're looking inside the heartbeat of a major hurricane here, folks. Of course, as this makes landfall, it starts to weaken, of course, and weakens pretty quickly, thankfully. But even so, pretty crazy thing to see there. But all lollygagging aside, let's go ahead and actually take a look at the environment out ahead of Helene here. And this is really the big problem right here, is the fact that the sea surface temperatures. This is in Celsius, yes. So 30 degrees Celsius. You multiply it by an integer just a little bit less than 3. It's pretty accurate to the Fahrenheit temperature. So at this point, you're talking about 87 plus degrees sea surface temperatures. 80 degrees is about the minimal. Your mouse doesn't click or double clicks. Jeez. And I thought I was having a bad day with my tech stuff. My phone was even acting out earlier. Alright. We'll pull that up. Take that full screen for you. That's over towards Cedar Cove, by the way, folks. Yep, I just did my store run yesterday, so I'm all good to go. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, by the way, Contingents. Appreciate you. So it's 9 divided by 5? I've seen so many different variants with that. Yep, we just got the flashlights today, actually. So we're as set to go as we can be here. Okay, let's get this set in motion here. Glad you can make it, by the way, oof. I'm trying not. That's a problem. That is a big problem right there. That's alarming. Hey, Contingents. You see this pressure right here? Oh, man. Like I said, I haven't seen the, I'd have to do without beer. I've been having a few drinks lately myself, so I'm actually going to cut back. I've actually made the decision to cut back here. I've been watching a lot of boxing fights, so usually for those fights I'll have a little drink or two. So, and there's been a lot of good boxing lately, so yeah. Yeah, that's 918, bud. So if you go by any standard here, that technically based off model data would be a Cat 5. That's a problem. Well, I drink something a little bit heavier. Yunling Black and Tans. I mean, they're cheap and they're pretty good quality, I'd say. But I try to drink them a little bit more sparingly. But recent time I've been drinking a little bit more, but never gotten like out of control. That's the key. If you're gonna drink, you gotta be able to manage yourself. It's my code of conduct. And if you're going through some tough times, then stay away from it. But yeah, that's a big problem right here, though. That is a pretty major storm at this point in time here. So if you know anybody in Florida, you definitely want to share this this info to them, regardless of whether you share the channel or not, because we want people to be safe, and this is pretty alarming. Like I said, this storm has such a high ceiling. Oh, I know. I'm very concerned about this. I'm very concerned about this contingents. Like this is gonna be one to remember. I got a feeling that this might be one that they retire. And I try not to say stuff like that, but if this does what I think it can do, this one will be retired. Yeah? What? Wait. Hang on a minute. No. That's okay. Okay, there you go, Torex. Well, the thing is, the storm's not going to have the same kind of impacts for your area. But I mean, if you still want to leave, feel free, but you don't have to. I've watched him. I'm not that impressed with him, if I'm being honest, but we'll talk about that later. Let's go ahead and look at the wind shear. And we're not really expecting a whole lot of wind shear. Wind shear from the outflow of the storm, but nothing to really slow it down here. I wouldn't be too concerned, Liz, but I understand if, like I said, you got to do what makes you comfortable at the end of the day. So No one's gonna judge you if you leave, but I'm just saying, if you don't want to, you don't have to. I mean, even the people in the path of the storm, even though I would highly recommend they would leave, you don't want to. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit, man. I mean, you're on Discord, so if you want to talk sports, I mean, we can. We can talk sports, bro. So, I guess the next thing we'll go over, of course, is the tornado threat, and then, of course, we'll talk about storm surge and everything else. I'm going to check Radar Omega really quick, too, by the way. We still have that pesky tornado warning in West Virginia, by the way. Also going to check your area really quickly. I know we can't see it on the screen at this very moment, but I can actually adjust that. You still have rain off to your west, by the way, John, if you're still there. You still have rain off to the west. And that's a crazy thing to think about. The fact that my entire state is under a tropical storm warning, by the way. Yeah, I know. That's why I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to it. Otherwise, I would have kept it up on the screen from jump. But, hey. But anyway, though, let's go ahead and take a look at HRRR here in NAM, because tornado threat is going to be a factor here, I think. Oh, you're gonna get your rain soon. Don't worry. We're all going. If you live in the state of Georgia, state of Florida, South Carolina, and then there's many others I can mention too, we will get our fair share of rain. I am not doubtful of that at all at this point. Okay, so let's shift our map over so that we can get an up close look. Okay, so this is where we're going to get a good look at where the wind impacts are going to be greatest. Looking at the HRRR, of course, looking at the low-level jet. These are the winds that are most apt to translate to the surface, although not in its entirety. So here's our storm coming in. Here's our tropical storm force winds, probably starting to kick up right around overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Really starts to pick up by the time we get towards lunchtime here. By this point, we're starting to see tropical storm force winds and probably an increase in the tornado threat over towards Florida by lunchtime. Tampa Bay in particular has kind of caught my eye with the last few model runs here. Sorry, y'all. I can barely breathe up my right nostril. You're worried about your car? Whoa. That's crazy, dude. That's a crazy story. Tying a rope around your waist. Okay. I'm not going to think about that imagery. That's freaking crazy. But anyway, you can see the tropical storm force wind starting to reach your area probably by mid-morning, maybe late morning. Hello, Isaiah. Hope you're enjoying those. Alright, so this is mid-afternoon, by the way. This is where you'll get the strongest winds, by the way, Liz. I can relate, Torex. Torex lives a little further out west. By the way, John, this is overnight tomorrow. I'm trying to survive this as best as I can. But John, I don't know if you're seeing this, but yeah, this is your area come tomorrow. Looks like the HRRR actually has a center coming very close to my area, maybe just a little further off to the east. Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I know. We're under a tropical storm watch, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a hurricane warning out of this. I would not. Yeah, yeah, I think this is probably still going to be a hurricane by overnight tomorrow by the time it reaches my area. So I don't know if I'm going to be working Friday. I'm probably not going to be anyway, considering the fact that not necessarily my home, but the area and the roads around my home are flat and very much prone to flooding. We've already gotten a lot of rain today, at least about a couple inches at this point. It's still going now. I wouldn't be surprised if power does go out at some point. It did whenever Hurricane Zeta went through 4 years ago. It would be essentially impossible, but hey, I'm trying to make. Hey, listen, man, I still got bills to pay. Got a car note coming up here, so hey, I'm trying to make ends meet. The thing is, though, Friday morning by like 7 a.m., which is my normal clock in time, I'd be okay. I will be eating in a little bit here. It's just right now I'm just struggling to breathe. I actually did eat a little bit before the stream, but I probably should have got some soup, but maybe I could try and order some groceries while there's still time. All I know is once we get an overnight tonight, anything that we need to do is pretty much done, or needs to be done. I actually hate radishes, so that's not gonna work. I absolutely cannot eat those. The taste drives me freaking nuts. I'm not gonna lie though, I might actually try it though, because tomorrow's gonna be a long day, and dealing with this is gonna be rough if that's the case. If the rain lightens up, I might be able to sneak out there and drive real quick, but that's if the road isn't flooded. If it is, I'll give you pictures. I don't understand how any of you guys are able to eat those radishes, man. I think they're absolutely awful. I sound like a freaking kid. I know, but I absolutely loathe radishes. Alright, so moving on to the tornado threat. And that's the other reason why we looked at the 850 here. On that last one. We're trying to use a combination plot here. Obviously, on the right side of that storm, the wind profile is absolutely insane. But the question has always been instability for me. And it does look like as we go throughout the day here, we have a little bit of instability just off the shores here as we get into the early afternoon. And what kind of captures my eye, especially just after about 2 o'clock, is look at the... Wait, I think this is the wrong one, actually. I have looked at a couple of these in advance here. But either way, looking at the wind profile by about lunchtime or just a little bit after, the 0 to 1 kilometer shear is absolutely insane. We're looking at about 37 to 43 on the shear parameter here. Usually 20 is good enough of a number. Oh, yeah, I never even got a chance to ask you that. I'm glad you finally beat that off. Pause. No diddy. Anyway, I feel absolutely miserable right now. Yep, you gotta clip that, bud. I botched that one. I will be back on probably by tomorrow morning. I would say maybe early, maybe even as early as about maybe 1 p.m.
Here's the forecast for tomorrow in Marietta. 6 degrees.
That does not surprise me, Isaiah. They barely caught the tornado that actually touched down here over towards Raboon and Habersham. I'll be on tomorrow for sure, regardless of how I'm feeling. Can't stay away from stuff like this anyhow. That's just me at this point now. But in any case, though, whew. All right, Liz. We'll see you later. You be safe as well. I don't think you'll be too bad off, but you know, whatever you decide to do, you should be fine. And 250 is not going to be as relevant anyway at this point, Leprechaun, because the fact of the matter is, for one, it's a hurricane. Wind shear is going to be light at the 250. There's going to be lift from this system as is because, well, it's a freaking hurricane. That low pressure system alone is going to generate plenty of lift. So 250 isn't really going to be much of a factor there. Really, it's just about the wind profile, which is plentiful, and the amount of instability, which towards this area, it's pretty good. I'm really interested to see what happens the following day. Southern Georgia or oh, okay, yeah, okay. I was about to say because I've never heard of a county. I've never heard of a county with that name before, so I was kind of like, Isaiah, I don't know what you're talking about, bud. Okay, I see it. I'm gonna sound the siren real quick. This is for Colquitt County. This is Colquitt County. This is located near Norman Park or Moultrie. This is moving at 15 miles an hour. Oh, it's a funnel cloud with it too. I wish there was some chasers we could look at it. Truthfully, Leprechaun or Kevin, it's been like that all year. It's really been like that the whole entire year. Like, I remember times we forecasted whole tornado outbreaks and have done live streams for other areas, and the most action that we've gotten were areas that were in like marginal risk. It's really just been that kind of year. Well, to be fair though, there was only a marginal risk for tornadoes today. And in actuality, if you really think about it, Georgia, it made sense that we got the warnings that we got, and that we have the funnel clouds to go with it. West Virginia, I think we were like right on the edge of a marginal risk that had a 2%er. But yeah, the 2% have been moving kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. The 2%ers have been crazy. Like I said, they've been pretty consistent this year. Storm Prediction Center's been pretty spot on with the 2%ers. It's just the other percentages where it's been kind of questionable. But we got a 10% tomorrow, so well, you know how that goes. But considering the fact that this is coming from a tropical system, definitely something that I'm going to be watching extra close here. Indeed it has. I mean, sheesh. That's pretty crazy to see that number 4 right there. And the fact that it skips 3 on the cone here, by the way. If you guys can even see that. Anyway, though, all talking aside, let's go ahead and also take a look at what significant tornado parameters we might have here. Yep, exactly. See what I'm saying? You know the 2% this year has been pretty wild. So, goes without saying, you know. Yep. Yeah, those 2%ers, you got to be careful with them. And honestly, I hate trying to stream them sometimes because if you get your hopes up on a 2%er, you get disappointed. But it's always the 2%er you don't look at that produces the big wedge tornado. So it's crazy, you know? I think with the NAM 3 kilometer, it was higher. I mean, in all fairness, though, HRRR does have some pretty good values just offshore here. Like, that definitely looks like we're sitting at, like, maybe a 5 potentially there. Right there. A 5 out of 10. Let's go ahead and look at that. Wow, look at that loop right there, guys. That loop from 0 to 3 is always telling. Yeah, I would rather be disappointed on 2%er, but the thing is, tracking those 2% events, especially especially when you know that there's a bigger day ahead, it burns a lot of energy. Welcome back, contingents. Check out the STP. I'm sorry if you're hearing me sound a little snotty because, well, yeah, I'm not feeling great. Yeah, busts are exhausting regardless of what risk you have, whether it's 2, 5, 10, 15, or even 30. I think we've had a bust at 30 before that we've streamed on here. Maybe one. Sounds like fun, Kevin. Oh, there's some pretty good values at about 5 o'clock here over towards Florida. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick. The last 3 Labor Days you've been sick. That's awful. That's actually awful. A holiday where you actually have time off and the time to actually do stuff like hang out with your friends, etc. Or just have a little you time and you end up being sick. This is just off of Florida here. This is a pretty interesting looking hodiograph, but still pretty intense though. Just about what you would look for here. These aren't going to be long track supercells, thankfully. Otherwise, this would be a really big problem. But I wonder what Kyle would think with this. But unfortunately, Kyle's tied up with schoolwork right now. I'm actually going to save that, by the way, and share that to Discord. Yeah, this is giving me vibes like what we did with Barrel, and then we saw what Barrel ended up doing. What concerns me with this is the chance that, this could do worse than Barrel in a way because, well, it's stronger than Barrel, so the wind profile is going to be more intense too. So I have my concerns with this. Alright, but yeah, here's another look. This is over towards Savannah, by the way. Kind of got that same look going on there. Semi-discrete mode. Really crazy SRH at 0 to 1. 0 to 3 is pretty crazy too. Effective inflows at 400 as well. So, pretty intense there. And then, of course, as we all know, with any of these storms, odds are they're going to be rain wrapped. So, should be fun. And the craziest part is all of this is happening before landfall. Because landfall is actually expected to occur probably right around like 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow. And these soundings are like literally just before landfall. Everything that I've picked up to this point. Ooh. Yeah, I think I remember that actually. I remember all of us were stunned when we started seeing Beryl just start dropping tornadoes. We all are appreciative of Louisville for a number of reasons, but Louisville also learned some very hard lessons in years past. And not necessarily from faults of their own. Yeah, the tornado threat ended up staying off to your northwest, so fortunately you weren't in a lot of danger. If I remember correctly, that's not too far from where my brother's stationed. That could be a problem. I'll look at that in just a moment. I think Birmingham did get a little bit of action, but I think the storms weakened pretty significantly by that point. Yeah, Bear was insane. That was one we aren't going to forget anytime soon. I actually made a whole entire timeline of that hurricane. Like, I think that's actually the longest time that I have covered a hurricane on the channel to date. Oh, you were following 78? Oh. That urban driving in particular during severe weather is always fun. Had to do that today, actually. Had to drive through the heart of town at work, and then we came back home. Then coming back home, I had to go through town again. By this point, we were getting the driving rain. Yep, that's correct, but that's what you would expect with tropical systems, because like I said, you don't need that upper level wind shear. It's all about everything that's going on closer towards the surface. The surface and the mid levels are the main thing that matter, because if you remember, the lift is going to be generated from the low pressure system itself. So I still need watch hours voice. That's the only thing. If I had all the watch hours I needed, I still need probably like 1,000 or so more. No, there was a little bit of junk vection with Barrel, but the problem with Barrel was actually the fact that we had like cape levels at about 3,000 plus, and it was widespread. So that, along with the wind profile, was the exact reason why that happened. A couple of those actually ended up going to like fully discrete for a brief period, actually. But there was junk vection there. Because if not, who knows what could have happened. I think one of those tornadoes actually ended up being rated like EF3 too. Alright. So let's go over a couple of parameters over here. It's been fun to chat with you guys, by the way. Gotta jip me somehow. Well, no, I mean, I was clear on the requirements to begin with. And this year, I mean, you got to get 4,000 watch hours within a year. And I mean, the year kind of started out slow, so that's why I'm behind. Like, for a time, we were just kind of struggling to get into the algorithm. I also probably could have done a little bit better with my content. I still can, I feel like. But, we're doing what we can here. Told you. You just had to wait, John. All you had to do was wait. Alright, so since we're keeping things moving here, one big thing that I'm talking about that I've been talking about from the very beginning with this system, and I'm extremely concerned about it because now, oh my goodness, look at that. 15 to 20 feet. By the way, folks, this is the first time I'm seeing this because, like I said, during the 5 o'clock update, I was trying to start the stream. The stream crashed. So I had to fix everything up. So some of this stuff I haven't fully gotten to look at yet. It's okay, voice. I have a sense of humor, okay? I have a sense of humor. But no, I am struggling right now. I am absolutely miserable. I am absolutely miserable. Now that one I have to do a rain check on, but the fact that we're seeing 15 to 20 feet concerns me gravely. And I think this is probably the most dangerous of all the threats from Helene here, is the fact that we have such a high storm surge. Like, I'll put it in perspective for you guys. I'm not ashamed to tell you my height. I shouldn't be anyway, but it's really not all it's cracked out to be. But yeah, I'm 6'6". I'm 6'6". So basically, you can imagine at least 3.5 of me in height. So yeah, I hope so too, because I'm gonna be streaming for a large part of the day tomorrow. I don't even know what time I'm gonna start, but all I do know is once I start, I'm gonna be on here for a while. Shit. 60, dude. I know I'm supposed to be talking about the weather, but your shoe size is a 16? Your shoe size is a 16? What? No, thank you. 13.5 is enough for me, bro. Oh my gosh. Listen, voice, there are pros and cons to both. There are pros and cons to both. Yeah, no kidding. I don't necessarily have that problem with shoes, but I have that problem with pants because, as you can tell, I'm in shape, but I'm not necessarily like a huge guy for my height. Like, I weigh about maybe, like, I've actually dropped quite a bit of weight, and I didn't want to, really. No, I'm not into sneakers, voice. But, um, I'm actually weighing in right about now at about 190-ish. Typically, I walk around at about 200, between 210. I've never weighed more than maybe 213. Just never have been able to, like, kind of hold weight in that regard. But anyway, big problems here, though. 15 to 20 foot storm surge is unheard of. Very much a problem. So, from Carabel to the Swanee River, definitely get out of there. If you know anyone over there, clip this and send it to them. Because hopefully by this point, the government officials might have convinced you. If not, let the weird metalhead weatherman tell you, okay? Like, get out of there. Just go. You actually bought a clock for Zulu? That's pretty cool. Ugh, God. I can barely breathe out of my right nostril, man. If only honey buns could make me feel better right now. Although they do taste great. Man. Shit. If only powder could make me feel better. The powdered donuts would be nice if they could make me feel better, but they won't. It'll probably make it worse. Also, 10 to 15 foot storm surge. Let's not downplay that either. That's pretty dangerous too. So Chesahowitzka, big problems there. Also, all the way over to Apalachicola, still have that life-threatening storm surge. Then another area, even though we don't have like storm surge that's 2 stories tall, the fact that we still have 5 to 8 in Tampa Bay is still a problem because this area has always been historically susceptible to storm surge. So, big problems there. Oh, that's the tropical storm warning, by the way, John. We have tropical storm warnings actually throughout the entire state. And now, interestingly enough, after the 5 o'clock update, or in recent time, the hurricane warning is actually moved all the way up to Macon. So, big problems. Big problems there. So, like I said, busy times ahead. Very interesting, very busy, maybe even tumultuous times ahead. Also, you guys, if you haven't, definitely share this video, this stream on their social media. Maybe we can get a few more people on here. But anyway, though, wait, is Ryan Hall actually like going into this, like actually chasing this? Wow, that's crazy. That's big. I wish I could do that myself. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's not a surprise. Uh are you sure? Cause I see his emblem actually on Radar Omega, dude, and he's down there near like Apalachicola. Okay, so Hall Force 1. Okay, so that's what he calls his vehicle. So I guess one of the vehicles he's got under him is going down there. Okay, okay. That makes more sense. I was like, wait, whoa, he's actually going out there? That's crazy. I don't even know if he's ever chased a hurricane before. So I'm like, if you are chasing your hurricane for like the first time, like, this is crazy. I mean, I respect the guy as it is, but I would have been like kind of concerned actually a little bit. I would have been like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Yeah, I know, right? Well, considering the fact that I'm probably going to be in it, I'm going to have a few clips probably for you guys. I'm going to try to do that safely, of course. Hey, man, I'd love to see it, but if you guys do ever go out there and chase, my first wish is for you all to be safe. If you guys do chase, make sure you're certified first because I don't want you going out here not knowing what you are doing. But if you are going to chase for me, safety is paramount. Like, like you can get the miracle shot all you want, but I want you to be here to talk about the miracle shot after the fact, you know? Yeah, my current car right now, I don't have like crazy insurance coverage at the moment, so no chasing for me, but you know. Hey man, I'm just gonna tell you, the weather has a great way of breaking people's hearts, so I would not get my hopes up in that. She is a very cruel mistress at times. Anyway though, what was I gonna say? Let's go ahead and look at the storm surge inundation. I probably wouldn't, but with the channel growing, I don't think it's going to be a secret that I'll be able to keep forever. I mean, it's pretty easy to find my name now. So I can't get away from it forever. Yeah, I'm happy with severe weather. My main thing is like this: if I'm looking for severe weather and I don't get it, I get bummed out. But something like this, I'm kind of feeling a little different, not gonna lie. Okay, so let's go over storm inundation real quick while we're at it here. By the way, I really appreciate you guys hanging around. Even though we've been honestly off topic for like most of this stream. But I enjoy talking to you guys anyway, so it's fine. I mean, I still feel like crap, but it's not as bad. It'd be much worse if there was like no one here and I was just talking to nothing. Like doing a regular video doing this while dealing with this sucks. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the legend here. So of course the area in the red is the most concerning area. Really anything in the orange is life-threatening because that's above 6 feet. So at that point, unless you're like an Olympic swimmer, that would be a huge problem here. And pretty much all along the Big Bend is where we have the problems. Anything above, anything that's 6 to 9 feet, you should already have been out here by this point. You still have a chance to leave if you are in this area, but if you aren't, haven't yet, just get out. Don't even take anything with you. Just head out of there, man. It's just not worth it, really. Also, go ahead and take a look at the rainfall threat. And this is probably my personal biggest concern from my area. And that's because, well, for one, as the WPC has issued a high risk that is getting notably closer to my area. But also, I'm freaking miserable. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to breathe. But, oh no, this looks bad. This is awful. Yeah, I'm very close to that pink. That sounded very suggestive. Anyway. But yeah, we're near the high risk. Very much within the moderate risk. Flooding threat's pretty high over the next couple of days. And then also looking at the totals here is crazy. Because we can see up to 8 to 12 inches just from my area. The areas in the red and the pink could easily see almost up to 2 feet of rain. I don't know if Contingents is here to clip that one. I hope not. Something tells me though, it wouldn't surprise me that if one Baconator Henry was lurking in the shadows and clipping that just to spite me because I deleted one of his memes earlier in Discord. Yeah, take that, man. I'm sure he'll get me back somehow. Hour 17-ish. Well, I'll try and remember it. But ultimately, though, the big threat here, of course, it's going to be actually across the mountain range here towards northeastern Georgia here. So we could easily get about close to 2 feet in the valleys. We can easily get up to a foot or more over towards the Big Bend. And actually over towards Panama City could be the worst in regards to the immediate landfalling impacts in regards to rainfall here. Then after that point, I guess we'll just go ahead and take a look at the radar and get ready to close this one out here. Ugh, man, my nose feels freaking awful. Well, happy that I at least was able to try and survive this stream here. My other computer. I got a bunch of computers here right now. Let me check something real quick. I might actually have a window to actually head out to the store. Hey, Big Perm. Long time no see, man. Yeah, it's been a long journey. You've been here for a while. It's good to see you again, though. By the way, man. Hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you're not in an area of concern right now, too, because this is a big one, and I'm not even exempt. Oh, I know. Oh, you. I'm glad. I'm glad that you always watch, man. Thank you. Oh, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine in Ohio. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was him that actually broke the record. Who knows? Maybe we may see something else. Somebody might contend. Who knows? But considering how many people are streaming this, I'm not too worried about it. Either way, whether it's my little tribe or we actually help out, or actually like reaching out to people and actually like really doing numbers and helping. Either way, I'm just happy to be able to present the coverage to you. Okay. Wow. Wow. Just I'm not gonna lie, just looking at this storm on the models here is absolutely incredible. The fact that we have pressure this low is very concerning. You know what? I might try and thug it out and go one more hour so we can get the 8 o'clock advisory. Quickly discuss that, and then we'll call it a night. Well, I can vote. I'll leave it to you guys, actually. You guys free to hang around for another hour? No, you have enough fears. Shoot, if you have that many, you need to share with me, bud. Oh, you gotta go in a few minutes, Torex. It's okay. I understand. I mean, it's never any pressure for anyone to stay, but the fact that anyone tunes in, whether they're just a viewer, moderator, whatever, appreciate it, you know? We'll probably put some music on too while we're at it. You're driving out next Wednesday. You could drop by for a minute, huh? Oh, that's cool. I'll probably be at work most likely, though. But I'll let you guys vote. Ah, nice voice. Well, glad to have you guys here. Glad to have you guys around. This is still incredibly strong by the time it reaches our area, by the way, John. This could be a problem. This really might be a problem. Oh, okay. Yeah, by Wednesday, I hope I will be working again, because if not, then well, I'm going to have to figure something out here, because my rent's coming up soon. And I don't get paid for rain days. Alright, I'm finally going to take a look at Discord here. By the way, thanks for the share, Torex. Alright, in a couple minutes, though, I am going to probably need to blow my nose. Just so I can breathe a little bit again. I actually covered Hillary. I actually did cover Hillary, by the way. Oh, nice. That sounds like fun. Darn you contingents are actually clipping that. Why? I haven't seen anything on radar images yet, Isaiah. Oh. Okay. I see it now. So there's actually something going on over there towards Spartanburg. There might be a possible tornado. Alright, I'm going to blow my nose real quick, guys. I'm going to probably start putting some music on in a sec. I'm put some music on. I'll explain that in just a second, boys. I will be right. Alright, I'm back. Oh, that feels a little bit better, clearing it out. But, whew. I'm actually putting in a order for a grocery cart. This will be the last one that we do before the storm comes in. But, yeah, I'm gonna get some fisherman's friend with that. Try to help myself along here. Because I'm gonna need it for tomorrow, for sure. But anyway, though. Oh, hey, you all stayed, too. Thanks. Ugh. Oh boy. Oh man. Yikes. I'll probably have at least a few minutes of relief. Alright, I'm going to share this to my socials too, by the way. Alright, thanks for hanging around, Torex. Appreciate you, bud. Okay, there we go. All right, now. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead. Alright, let's figure out what we're going to look at for the next 45 minutes. Maybe I'll play some guitar too. I haven't played in a couple of days. I'm just really not been feeling up to it. Do you guys have any requests right now on something to look at in regards to the weather here? If I let you guys run roughshod, you could say just about anything. Probably would. Oh, do you got? Oh, actually, I know what we can look at. We have quite a few webcams available actually right now. Ooh. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let me do a little bit of adjusting here. There we go. Let's see if we can get this back up and running here. You can already see over towards St. George things are starting to look like please do voice. I'm more than down for that. I mean, I got a few cameras available to me, but the more the merrier. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. It's great. It is great. Oh man, that's funny. Man, I'm trying my best not to laugh. Somebody clipped that other part that we were talking about earlier where I said something really stupid. Then again, I'm always doing that. Oh, you have reservations for Panama City Beach? Take me with you. I'm just kidding. I'll probably be working again at that point. I'd like to think at that point the off season will be over. But that really just depends on how life goes. Who knows? Maybe this might get going by March, to the point where I can make money off of this only. But dang. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been there. Yeah, you deserve you deserve to enjoy some quality time over there, for sure. Last time I went there was nearly 10 years ago. Well, next year will actually make 10 years. It's pretty fun most of the time. Oh, you got 3 nights? Ah. Maybe you could get more, hopefully. I mean, really just depends on your situation, though. I know things have gone up in price exponentially since the last time I've been there, so it's not like I don't understand. Really? After 2015? How ironic. Because that was the last time that I was over there, was in 2015. So, lucky me, actually. Oh, it's walkable? Well, that's what matters at the end of the day. Is just having a place that you can enjoy, that yeah you can enjoy. I remember one condo that we went to. This was just after I graduated high school. That was that was an awesome trip there. Hey, hello, Magic Bed Wars 2. Welcome. Glad to have you here, man. But yeah, we're right now talking. Well, we're just kind of right now just more shooting the chat at this point, or just chatting. We're kind of waiting on the 8 o'clock advisory at this point now, since we're so close. We're only about 30 minutes away. We kind of talked about a lot of everything already from the 5 o'clock advisory. Uh, Couple things to make note of from that discussion we had was the fact that we're probably going to see this be upgraded to a Cat 2 with this upcoming update here. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next. I thought I'd put something out there too, unless one of the mods pranked me or something. I don't. Ah, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. The Skycam and the Skycam links. Yeah, yeah. I'll tag you in it. Oh, daggone it! Not again. Okay, I fixed it now. I think it was the other screen. I'm just kind of scrambling around right now because recently we actually do have one chaser that we can actually look at videos. We can act whose streams we can actually use. Only downside is Patrick is mainly chasing out towards the northwest, so we won't be getting to look at his content often. But it's understandable because storm chasing costs a lot of money. So with him being local, definitely can understand it. Patrick's a pretty cool dude. I've actually yet to really like talk to him though, which I'm hoping we get to do soon. By the way, shout out to Tornado Explorer for that one, by the way, because he was the one that actually put me in contact or cleared me to be able to use his streams. But yeah, the other screen I didn't have the I don't have the webcam on that one. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of stuff that I probably need to do tonight to try to prepare for the live coverage tomorrow. So a lot going on, a lot to do still. Speaking of which, I just realized we also have also another interesting thing for the channel is that we have like a brief I think we have like a little bit of a partnership going with a music YouTuber by the name of Jacob Lazat. He doesn't copyright claim my streams, which is awesome. He does get a he would get a share of it, of the ad revenue, once I get to that point, which is fine. But yeah, that's odd. That's actually really odd. I need to fix that. Alright, just tagged you in it. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to see it. That's really weird. But yeah, Skycam links. But yeah, I just tagged you in it, so if you aren't seeing it from there, then something's definitely wrong. Okay. In any case, though, let me check. Let's do one other thing real quick before we get going here, or before we move on to the next thing. Also, thanks for the sub, by the way, Magic Bed Wars. Appreciate you, bud. I hate that I don't get the announcements on here like I would want. Oh, that's why. So it was just in a weird spot, that's all. That's happened to me before. And the crazy part is, I'm the owner of that server. All right. That barn just isn't ready for it to cool down yet, you know. It likes to retain a little bit of heat, that's all. Alright, so check something real quick. Okay, that's even more weird. I might switch over to Radar Omega instead of having the webcams up here. Oh, excuse me. Freaking. Here goes the here comes the sniffles again. It's fun while it lasted to have a little bit of fresh air. Just wanted to give you an idea of what the sea was looking like as a calm before the storm here. So it's moving more so in a northward motion now. It's just really this little area right here. Don't really see anything on reflectivity that would concern me, nor on velocity. So I think you're good on that. Honestly, I think I would love to actually collab with this guy one day, if it's at all possible. Speaking of which, as far as the music side of things, there's some interesting stuff in the works for the channel, for this channel as well. So, looking forward to when I get to finally release that for you guys. I'm thinking it'll be sometime in 2025, though. Still much more to do, but finally making some decent progress. We can only hope that we can continue that. Be working on that tonight, too, after the stream. Alright, so a couple other things we're going to take a look at right now. We're going to look at it on satellite, of course. Especially since we don't have the update just yet. Okay, getting harder to see it on visible. So let's go with long wave. That's a crazy look right there. A lot of convection off to the south side of the eye. We're looking at a lot of convection on the south side of the eye here. We need to be watchful of any new convection that pops up on the right side. And it looks like we're starting to actually see a little bit of that here. This may not strengthen by the 8 o'clock advisory. Maybe by 11 it will. But I'm obviously not going to be on for that one. I got to rest up for tomorrow, obviously. We also have other areas we need to watch too. How big is this in comparison to Barrel? Well, let's look at some key messages here. Or not key messages, but let's look at see if we can figure out just how far or how wide this thing is in comparison. I actually have to look up how big Barrel was again, because that's one thing I didn't really. Because I mean, Barrel was a pretty big storm, but it wasn't. I think this storm is much larger in regards to its actual size, not even as much as like its strength. Obviously, with it being a stronger storm, typically they end up being bigger. But I already think the wind field is much larger with this one than it was with Barrel. I might actually be wrong though. Hang on. I can't really think of it off the top of my head here. Okay, so shoot. Okay, so oh wow. All right. So I actually have found the size now. So, put in perspective, tropical storm force winds extend about 345 miles from the center. There might actually be another way I could look at this too. You could probably just go radar Omega here and go on from there. Not exactly the way I wanted that to go. Give me a second, guys. With this, we can actually scale it and see how big this actually is. So I don't know if I'm gonna count these bands that are over here towards Tallahassee, but also let me take this full. Let me take the radar mega picture full. Just switch a few things around, that's all. Just bear with me a second, guys. Ah, dang it. Dame Dion. Dame Dion? I can't think straight as far as like pronouncing right now. My nose is so stuffy, it's not even funny. Dinah Median. Okay. So yeah, I was way off the mark there. But I haven't necessarily heard of them. What is going on here? Why can't I take radar? Why can't I put radar Omega in full screen here? Okay. Save that. There we go. Sheesh. Streamlabs has been causing me some... Not Streamlabs, but OBS has been causing me some trouble today. Ha. I need to check that out. That sounds like that'd be interesting. But yeah, I love listening to Jacob's work, man. Especially this particular one. I mean, there's some other stuff that he does that sounds pretty cool, but this one is by far my favorite. Apparently he might be on the verge of like getting a record deal too, so again, shout out to Jacob there. Like I said, I would love to try and collab with him. Or at least just like get some tips on him, tips from him to like, or just like, you know, simply just pick his brain on like how he approaches writing music. See how that could help me be a better musician myself. Okay, here we go, finally. Alright, so currently, right now, if you're still there, voice. This storm's almost about 800 miles across from north to south here. Honestly, there is I could even like extend this out further to maybe like 1,000 miles based off of some of these feeder bands. But yeah, the feeder bands are spread out pretty far and wide from this actual storm system here. It's pretty crazy to think about, truthfully. Yeah, I just saw that. Alright. Alright, so we got a few more minutes left until this upgrade. Ugh. Sorry if I sound snotty right now. I'm really going through it today. I think Barrel's a little bit bigger, maybe 300 or 400. I have to check that stream again in order to truly remember. You know what? I'm going to be cheap and I'm going to Google it. Go ahead and judge me. I don't care. It was actually 160. Yeah, this storm is far bigger than Beryl, though, like size-wise, because the tropical storm force winds extended like 300. I think the tropical storm force winds with this one already spreads out to like 375. Beryl is about 502 miles long, 376 miles wide. This is dwarfing that for sure already. And it still is growing. That's the thing about it, so. This thing's gonna be much bigger.
What?
Oh, wow. That's gonna be something else to watch, too. That's crazy. So while we have something like Helene going right here, we still need to watch this here, too. Even though these won't be threats to land necessarily, it's gonna be another name in the storm system. Shoot, it could literally happen this week from freaking Helene. I won't say that that's a guarantee. You never know. I don't think anyone was expecting to see something like what we did with Mayfield all those years ago. So, I can't say yes or no to that. It's a tough answer. That's a tough one to answer right there. Yeah, I mean, I do think there are going to be times in the weather pattern, especially as we head into November, where there's going to be some chances for storms. But the thing is, like, even with those high-risk days, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to see a strong tornado. You just may see a bunch of smaller tornadoes. But I'm definitely, I'm not ruling it out. I wouldn't be surprised if we got an EF4, but obviously, yeah, yeah. Like you said, you understand. You know how this goes. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Trying my best to fight through this. Well, in all fairness, voice, it's a second season. There's 2 seasons. We're in second season, so it makes sense that you would ask that question. But right now, we kind of have a lull in the action. But second season will be starting soon, so it's just a hard one to answer. Hard question to answer. I mean, you know, but you already know that if something's going on, I'm going to be doing what I can to cover it. Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, since we have a little time, we can talk about that. Back when I used to have the DAZN, I actually did watch some of his fights, and he's alright. But in the last fights that I did see of him, I haven't seen him as of late, so I don't know if he's improved or not, but from what I saw, like, he seems like he's very much vulnerable. Oh yeah, James is definitely at the station right now. Because, I mean, this still does make a pretty close pass to some parts of Alabama and his coverage network. So he could be in probably for a couple of long days, or at least one long day. I don't know how that necessarily works. I'm not very much aware about how news coverage works in regards to like coverage areas. Yeah, that right there. Let's go back to regular radar and take a look at that. Yeah, it's this little tiny little air showers over here, just outside of Hamilton. Oh, he does extend into West Georgia? No, sir. Let's not do that, contingents. You should screenshot that. I know during the super outbreak, he was James Spann was covering parts of like far eastern Alabama, even stretching into Georgia. I think there was one fight I watched where I felt like he kind of got gifted. I'm not gonna lie, and I think that was one of the fights that kind of had me a little bit turned off to him. I think that was like maybe 2021 maybe, or maybe like 2020. I think it was actually, no, it was after the pandemic, or like the worst part of the pandemic. For now, that's something I'm not even trying to get into, really. I do not want to remember that. It was a journey. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to remember that. That freaking sucks. Okay, new advisories just come in. This is the 8 o'clock advisory. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and refresh everything really quickly before we go forward. I mean, how do you forget that? That was something. I don't even like going into it. It's just crazy. That's why I was saying I don't want to really get into it, because I know it's still happening. Literally, you know for a fact that it's still happening. And for lack of a better term, contingents, remember, I did say that the worst part of it, it's still ongoing. But a lot of bad memories from that time, though. Yeah, we'll see if he's still got anything left in the tank, because the longer you stay away from the sport, the harder it is to come back. But anyway, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest advisory here. I don't know if Cyclocane is going to update as quickly. I hope that they do. But I'm pretty sure they only... Oh, no, they are. They are updated. Okay, so it doesn't look like a whole lot's changed with this right now. We still have it as a forecasted Cat 4. This is currently a Cat 1 at the moment. I think overnight this is going to really start to pick up. Typically hurricanes do actually strengthen pretty notably overnight. Sometimes during the morning they'll slow down. But I think this thing's gonna really start to bomb out at that point. I need to switch screen. I need to switch things around real quick. Can't explain it exactly right now. My brain's freaking fuzzy. Only thing that I can think of right now is snot, snot, and more snot. I've looked it up before. I can. My head wasn't freaking pounding. I could tell you probably. But it's pretty common, especially over like the main development region in particular. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now. I don't think it could be. I don't think it's higher condensation. It's something else. Remember? Yeah, I can't remember. Just trying to think hurts right now. Like, it actually hurts to think. It sucks. Like, my head it feels like a freaking bowling ball. What am I doing here? Okay. Put that radar omega for now. And we have a tornado warning to go along with this. Alright, so this is another tornado warning. Where is this? It's Virginia again. This is Bland, Mercer, and Hazewell counties. This is located over Clear Fork near Bluefield, moving north at 25 miles an hour. This is a radar indicated tornado. This is also the going to be affecting the Mercer County Airport. Oh boy. Alright, so dang, I can barely see him amongst all this stuff going on right now. Alright. Alright, let's see what this thing has, and then we'll quickly go over the 8 o'clock advisory, then we're going to call it a night. Ooh, that's going to be heading straight through Bluefield. Or just passing to the southeast, just passing to the east of town here. Yeah, that's a nasty little appendage right there, just looking at that. And the velocity is, it's solid. But yeah, it's definitely got some spin in there. You can see it pretty clear. Yes, I got to see the very last second of the update that you were referring to before then. Quick pull spin up at best. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about Helene real quick. So as far as intensity is concerned, nothing's changed, folks. We're still expecting a major hurricane landfall tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. This becomes a major hurricane by tomorrow afternoon, probably tomorrow morning even, possibly. Not much has really changed with the track. We have pretty good confidence in it. Big Bend looks like the point of interest here. Maybe even towards the eastern parts of the panhandle here. So threats, of course, that we're going to be dealing with Helene will be, of course, storm surge. Forecast hasn't really changed with that. 15 to 20 foot storm surge. I think that's a record, according to you guys, from the Hurricane Center and NOAA here. So very dangerous situation going on there. So we have Carabel in that 15 to 20 foot area. Apalachicola is at 10 to 15 feet. And that spans all the way over towards the Swanee River to Chassahowiska. Then from Chassahowiska to the Antaclot River, it's about 8 to 12 feet. We get towards Tampa, we start to drop off towards 5 to 8 feet, which is still pretty dangerous, especially considering how susceptible this area is to storm surge. It's actually sitting below sea level, so that's a big problem. Then from Inglewood to Charlotte Harbor, we're getting 3 to 5 feet. Florida Keys are pretty low at 1 to 3 feet. Then we have all the way from Indian Pass all the way over towards the Mexico Beach area. We're going from 6 to 10 and progressively going to 1 to 3 once more. Also can't forget about the eastern side of Florida. We can see about 1 to 3 feet of surge. Not much anything I'd be super concerned with here. Still could be troublesome, but nothing of major significance. Big problem, of course, is going to be those tropical storm force winds and the time in which they arrive. The Florida Keys now are starting to experience those tropical storm force winds. By the time we get later into the evening, into the overnight tonight, we're going to see the southern part of the peninsula getting into play with the tropical storm force winds. Towards our main area of impact, it's going to be shortly after 8 a.m. when we start to see those impacts come into play. Georgia starts to get into the impacts along with Alabama by tomorrow afternoon, and then just outside the Atlanta metro, Birmingham, all these other guys are going to be getting it towards Thursday evening into Thursday night. The winds are going to be a big problem over towards these areas as well, especially on the right side of the storm system. So, storm surge inundation, we already know. Worst areas, of course, are going to be over towards our landfall zone, which is going to be, of course, stretching from Apalachicola downward towards Chassahowiska. So you can see these areas over here in the red. These are going to be indicating storm surge conditions that are greater than 9 feet above ground. So, like I said, very life-threatening conditions there. So, if you happen to be close to these areas, just get away. Don't wait till the winds start to hit. By that point, it's too late. Get out now. That's really the best advice you can get. It's the best advice that I can give you by far. And that's free. Rainfall, of course, another big factor here. Not too much has really changed with the forecast here. Maybe a little bit of a push off to the west here in regards to the 8 to 12 inch areas here. Maybe a little bit of an increase here in regards to the foot plus area over here towards our landfall zone. It's actually on the left side of the storm here. A lot of the rainfall eventually shifts towards the right here and towards the mountains where we get into those valleys. We could get maybe even up to 2 feet of rain here. So very concerning conditions ongoing there. Alexa, turn my lights on. Wow. Alexa, turn my lights on. I can't even get my lights on. What's going on here? Alexa, lights on. What the heck? Seriously? Whatever. You guys should still be able to see me. I hope. Alexa decided to turn my lights off, and then now they aren't coming back on. Alexa, lights on, please. Thank you. Jeez. I think what happened is I had a timer a while back. I haven't been able to reset it because usually by like 8 o'clock my lights always seem to go off. But anyway though, let's hurry up and wrap this up before something else stupid happens. Yes, AI is not fun. I do not enjoy it. Let's go ahead and look at flash flood potential. Not much has really changed with the WPC outlooks. We'll probably see a little bit more of a change probably by tomorrow morning. We might do a briefing maybe by mid-morning. We'll see what happens next with that. But from that point, I'm gonna try to rest up and get ready. I mean, AI has its uses, but I can't lie and say that AI doesn't get on my nerves sometimes. Especially apps like Amazon. Anyway, any other questions you guys have before I get off for tonight? Or get offline for tonight? Ugh. Is that a link about why those tropical systems strengthen overnight more? Oh, binaural tropic. Yep, that's overnight then. I'm gonna take a quick look at that. I actually will look at it on stream. Okay, so it just went to... Yeah, it's changed direction, but you're gonna get rain. Maybe not as much as what I've gotten, but you'll get some rain. Well, alright guys. And that's all. If that's it for tonight, then hope you guys stay safe. Keep me posted. Or I will keep you all posted. If you have me on Discord or social media, keep me posted on anything that's going on if you're in an area of concern, whether it's over towards the landfall zone or further inland. Hope you guys all stay safe, and I will see you guys very soon. Until then, you guys all have a wonderful rest of your night. Hopefully I'll be better tomorrow, and I will be able to perform above and beyond the standard. Because this was a rough one for me, I'm sorry. But anyway, night everybody.